Hey everyone, happy Sunday and welcome to Connected Human Conversations. Mike, don't laugh at me. That's not nice. Connected Human Conversations. I'm Nancy Barrows. I'm one of your hosts and I'm here with
Me.
Mike Better. Yeah, you, Mike Betterano.
Yes.
Yes, that would be you.
Yes.
So, okay, I was organized. Remember that? It's not happening because it's just how things are. No, I'm gonna be professional. Okay, so glad you all found us. Thank you for spending your time with us tonight. If you're new, thank you. Hope you love us and keep coming back. And for our loyal group of people that show up, our community every week, we love you and thank you again for being here. It wouldn't be Connected Human Conversations without you. So you can find us streaming live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. But to make it completely complicated, because that's what we're all about here, it seems, you would be looking on Facebook for me, Nancy Deborah, and for me on YouTube, Nancy Barrows, and on LinkedIn for Mike Betterano. I think we covered it all, yeah? I'm going to have to kill you. Like, don't do that.
It makes me want to change my LinkedIn name to like Nancy Barrows, Deborah Barrows, Nancy, so we can mix this all up appropriately.
I work in public education. I can't have my name all over the place.
I understand. It's perfectly fine.
All right.
Well, this episode is all about defining our own values. So we are truly defining our values
right now.
Like this is right off the bat. We're going right into this. Right, we're walking right into the flames.
All right. So there you introduced our topic. Why, thank you. Look at your brilliance. Number one. Silence your phone. Sorry, I'm exhausted. I apologize. I should bring my whole self to you guys every week, but I do appreciate you guys showing up and spending time with us. So, okay, Mike, go ahead. What's our topic officially?
Let's do it. It's defining our own value. And again, weekly, we seem to choose topics that are very relative to our personal lives because it's just the most genuine, authentic way to do these shows. And I have no problem airing my shit out. So for me, it makes perfect sense.
We're here to have those hard conversations, right? We're here to handle our discomfort around things and help other people get comfortable with discomfort. So
exactly. And, by having these conversations, we open the door up, right? And we take it from that stigma that, like you love saying, taboo won't do, right? So we take it from that place and we bring it to a place that people are open and willing to have these conversations. Defining your own value is very key, right? And it's something I never really understood. It's something that never made sense to me, probably because I never really valued myself for the majority of my life outside of the last. Okay, so I'm still working on it. It's one of those things that's a work in progress for me in a big way. I've made some really big steps this week and over the last couple of weeks, and I'm really starting to understand my own value and what I bring to the table. And all I have to do is be myself. And just by doing that alone, I bring the value that I intrinsically have. I'm still not great at accepting compliments. I'm still not great at receiving them and receiving praise or even praising myself or appreciating myself. But one thing that I learned this week about myself, with trial by fire, of course, literally, is that most people aren't willing to put themselves through the pain to get where they want to be in life. And I've never really appreciated myself for that until these last 48 hours. It's huge. Being willing to walk into that pain, to work through your issues and work through what's really at your core eating you up is so important when you want to take that next step in life and evolution. And for me, it was something that I spent 41 years running from, right? And now I have decided over this last year that I'm done running from it because I don't want to live that life anymore. I want to be my true soul-centered, core-valued self, right? So part of it was starting to do the work, doing the work, starting to integrate that work into my life. Then the next step was probably finding my core values and then taking that leap of living into them, which is beyond miserably difficult at first because it's changing everything that you ever thought you knew. And finding your truest self, right? Your soul-connected, soul-centered self. And it's been a heck of a journey. Like, it's been crazy. You know, without the people around me that I have, you and the Misfits and, you know, a bunch of others. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and just list names, but like a bunch of people, I don't know how I would be able to do this, right? There's been many people along the way that have impacted me. There's been many people that have pointed me in the right direction. But it seems like there's a lot of people that come and go on this journey, which is not something I understood, right? Because my whole life, I always wanted that group of people that I felt like I belonged with forever. And I don't think that's realistic expectations when you're taking a journey like this.
We talked about that a little bit last week, right? The pruning, the natural pruning of friends, and how it's not really until adulthood that we start to really see that it's happening. And for anyone who wasn't here last week, we just talked about like sort of your natural transition through life and the people who stay with you and the people who sort of fall off. And so I was using the example that when I transitioned from high school to college, right, I didn't hold on to all of my high school friends. But I didn't feel that. I didn't notice that because, of course, I had new friends because I was in college. And, of course, we didn't keep in touch as much because we weren't together as much. And the same thing when I moved to Los Angeles and, you know, throughout life. And it wasn't until I was sort of stable in one place that I started to notice that happening and had a lot of pain over it like you until I sort of accepted that this is how it goes. Not to say there aren't people that will be with you the entire way along the journey. There will be those special people who are with you, you know, come in and stay with you for sure. That's our, you know, we have our community, but those are our people. Those are our people. And so that's what we were talking about last week in terms of finding your value. You know, you were saying a couple of things that resonated with me. One of which was, you know, how do you take in praise, right? How do you handle compliments? How do you, in your own head, right, deal with the things that you are good at and good with, and acknowledge those? And how are you kind about the things where you're growing? It wouldn't be a show. It would not be a show without it. And so, you know, for me, I've gotten much better at receiving, like you, a compliment. I've gotten much better at acknowledging my own self-worth. It's still hard for me. And I don't know that it's hard. It's very emotional for me to receive. When my people, especially, give me compliments, those are the people that, you know, really are deeply ingrained in my heart. They know me so well. So anything they say there's no truer words that I'm ever going to hear. And so when I get that feedback from those people, it's really emotional. I'm not sure if it's about receiving. I think the emotion is about receiving it, right? I used to think it's like, oh, I can't handle it, I'm deflecting it, and it's overwhelming. But the reality is that the emotion comes from receiving the message, feeling so deeply loved, feeling that I have people who are there for me and are not going anywhere no matter what. And so it's funny, I wasn't acknowledging that for a long time. I thought it was a version of rejecting those compliments. But I think the reality is that no, those were the ones I was feeling, and I was feeling them really deeply, which really changed things for me and how I look at things. The other thing you said is, yes, this journey, this healing, this process. I don't even know that I call it a journey. I've said this before. A journey sounds like there should be it's like a Snow White kind of thing. You're going down a pretty forest and, you know, there's butterflies and birds and, you know, little woodland animals that are bringing me snacks or something. It sounds too nice to me because it feels more like a spirit noise. You know, it's dirty and it's hard and you want to stop. And sometimes you do have to stop and catch your breath, not stop. Sorry. Sometimes you have to pause and catch your breath, right? It all happens. But in the process knowing that you're walking into whatever your version of therapy is, talk therapy, body work, meditation, energy work, whatever version of your therapy is, knowing you're walking in to unlock the deepest, darkest, most scarred parts of you that are so tender, and you know they're going to hurt, is not an easy thing to do. Is definitely not an easy thing to do. And so, yes, there is a piece of praise for us, for people like you and I who said, oh my gosh, that wall, yep, full speed, I'm going to run into it again. And I'll be back next week to do it again. And I'll be back next week to do it again. And I feel fortunate, I feel very grateful that there's a piece inside of me that knew that running into that wall over and over again, as painful as that was, it would be more painful to continue going the way I was going. So the universe told me to run into the wall over and over again, right? It doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but it does, because it was the life I would have been leading, no doubt, would have been far more painful than the work I did, and the work was painful.
For me, right, like I look at this, and I'm such a solution person, right? I need to know. I need never. It's not like I never overthink anything either. So, no, not at all.
No.
So when I look at it, it's like ignorance is bliss doesn't work for me. I can't just ignore it and live like everything is great, right? Like I just can't. No matter how bad I want to, I can't.
Sorry, I'm going to pause for a second, because I think it's important for everyone listening to know this is the other piece. You're going to run into that wall, but once you're aware, you live an aware life. Maybe you're not fully aware, but that ignorance is bliss no longer exists for you.
No.
So you can't live an ignorance is bliss life. You can't. Not that it's not like how you live. It's just impossible now.
Yeah, I think once you get to a point in evolution or waking up or whatever you want to call it, right? Like awareness, right? So once you become to that level of aware, you can't ever go back. No matter how many times I've ran, no matter how many times I hid, the information never disappeared. My knowings never disappeared. It just meant I had to dig deeper and bury further to hide from them, right? And find ways to do so. It was, for me, it was escapisms, right? All the different escapisms that we talked about. And all that did was tear apart my value, right? It tore apart, ripped me to shreds.
Well, it added to the narrative that you were not valuable.
Right.
You were gathering lots of evidence for why that narrative was the right narrative.
100%. And I really fed into it and I built it. And I really did a good job of building a solid foundation and castle around it. I had a moat that was deeper than the Mariana Trench. Like I was ready to go and just suck it up and be miserable for my whole life. Something's changed. I refuse to be that person anymore. I refuse to be miserable for the rest of my life when I can fight through and work through and heal through the current pain, no matter what it is. Take it on. Know that I have the right people around me and trust that and get through it, because that is huge.
Not trusting the journey is a big piece.
Journey. It's not a journey. Remember, it's too sweet.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I know it's a Spartan race. It's like Fight Club. There's so many different ways we could talk about it, but that whole trusting the universe, trusting the path, trusting yourself to know, trusting, the things around you or whatever higher power you believe in to make sure you end up in the right place, the right time, that kind of thing, is a huge step, right? Because otherwise we're trying to control it. We're driving. And in this case, I'm a horrible driver, right? You are too. You looked for all the things that supported the narrative in your head that was most comfortable, which was you weren't worth anything, therefore, right? And so a perfect example was you, and you were on the phone with me. It happened. You were on the phone with me when I was rushing and crazy. And then afterwards, when I was like, I don't know why I doubted the universe. I had a moment. Friday, I was supposed to get a FedEx package that had been like overnighted to me. I needed it because we were doing the Shout Out Saturday 150th show the next day. And so I'm tracking it. I'm home all day, as I always am. And then it says, we attempted to deliver it. You can pick it up on Monday. And I thought, oh no, I can't do that. I need this now. I went into total rabbit from Winnie the Pooh mode. Like, like, oh my God, no, it has to happen now. It has to happen now. And, I'm quickly getting dressed and I'm racing over to FedEx because they close at 7 and it's like 6:20. And I am just black and I'm dark and twisty and at the whole world, right? Because this is not happening. I have the whole speech in my head, how I'm going to go, off on this person at FedEx because they did not try. It's happened before. They get to my gated building and they just turn around. They don't even attempt it. I had the whole litany ready to go. And I walk in and Angela was the woman there and she was so lovely. And I started saying, hey, I was home all day. She goes, no, they didn't try. You have a gated building? I said, yeah. She goes, they didn't try. And I thought, I love her, right? She's my girl. She gets it. And we had a lovely conversation. She goes and gets it. And in our conversation, I found out that she is wanting to live stream. She's wanting to start live streaming and, what she's been doing and, what she's up to and, things that like, I'm not much ahead of her on the journey, but I've had really good mentors that have taught me a whole lot. So the universe gave me that opportunity to talk to her and share the wisdom I have gathered in the short months that I have been doing this. And behind me in line, there was a guy that's like, hey, yeah, I just started a clothing line. And I was like, oh my gosh, awesome. Whole thing. And so when I got back in the car and I spoke to you, I said, I forgot about the universe for a minute. I forgot that it's all happening for a reason. And to me, that's moments like that happen. And they happen a lot. They're not the majority of how I handle things, but they definitely happen. And again, important to point out, because if you're on this journey and you think because I'm a person who lives in gratitude and abundance and positivity that I never have the moments that I just described, well, then I've painted a really unfair picture for you. Those moments happen. It's about how you choose to handle them and how you reframe them, and how I was able to see the experience at FedEx as a very positive one and something that was meant to happen for me to be able to help someone else, right? So again, that's not that it doesn't happen, it's what I do with it. And I don't remember what I started talking about, why I was telling this story, but it's a pretty good story. And yeah, hi, welcome.
Trusting the universe.
Yes, trusting the universe. Yeah. So yeah.
And then it rabbit holed a little, but that's okay. I love it. Because the story's perfect though. So yeah, trusting the universe sucks at times. It is, because it truly doesn't bring you to your breaking point, right? It brings you to a point where you feel like all is lost. And that is the moment where you make a decision one way or the other. Do I give up or do I continue to move forward? Fortunately, over the last year, I have chosen nothing but to continue moving forward. Yes, there's been pauses. Yes, there's been hesitations. Yes, there's been setbacks. But I've never given up, not a single second.
I'm working around a cat. I apologize. Sorry, Mike. I am paying attention.
You're good. It's okay. This is life on life's terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's real. Like, this is just real life. It's like, you sit here and you think, everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Everything's coming together, and then the rug gets pulled out from under you. And you have that day, that moment, whatever it is, which for me was this past Tuesday, where I felt like everything was aligned, everything was moving forward, everything's falling in place. And then Tuesday comes and it's like, yeah, no, not so much. It's not there yet. So just breathe. And I didn't breathe Tuesday at all. I don't think I took a single breath Tuesday.
I felt that.
I went down this spiraling rabbit hole. Right. And it's okay, because you're allowed to do that.
Well, the universe is going to test you. The universe is going to test your resolve. It's going to make sure that those skills, those lessons that you learn have really become skills you own.
it's going to push you to every breaking point possible. And you're going to have to decide for yourself. Nobody can make a decision for you. Is it worth fighting forward, or are you just done?
Right.
And there's
Do you
no,
want to live in your known comfortable discomfort, or do you want to actually thrive in things that you can't predict, but
and
give yourself the opportunity?
And the reality is, we all make bad choices at times, right? We all take those steps backwards. We all, judge ourselves and shame ourselves and blame ourselves and look at all these different ways to put ourselves back into that misery, right? But in the end, it's not what you do for the moment that matters. It's your continuation of the momentum forward. And it's a matter of continuing to push forward. Momentary setbacks is part of just life in general, right? So how are you going to react when you have that next moment? What is going to shift, that that your value, that the work that you've put in, that where you've gotten to is, you have your own value to continue to define for yourself. And it's really an interesting topic because it can go a million directions.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's very important because you physically got tested this week, right? Because you put yourself limits doing that show, helping Brian and Tim. You put so much into that beautiful process that it tested you on every level physically, which then took you out of your place mentally because it messed with your schedule, it messed with your routine, and you're all over the place, right? I mean, Brian, the Energizer Bunny, my little big brother, he just keeps going, and it's beautiful, right? But I can't always do that, right? I can't always be there and be that person. But we did it in different ways, right? We put ourselves to those limits in different ways this week. For me, it was, do I have the self-faith, the self-belief, the self-confidence, the self-awareness, and do I value myself enough that no matter what the timeline is, I'm going to be okay? Every single part of this is meant to be, and it's all working out as it's planned. Right. So, yeah, I had the momentary setback for a day because I was scared. I didn't want to do this anymore. I had plans put in place. I was building expectations, and I was looking for results or looking for certain things to fall in place. And it's okay, right? I've learned as the week's gone on that it ended up being better this way in a lot of respects for me, in a lot of ways. Maybe not every way, because I really do want to be out of here. I really want to be close to a Starbucks. But in the end, it's okay, because ironically, as much as I want to be near a Starbucks, I went on Amazon Prime and ordered my double shot cans, which normally take 3 to 4 days to get here. And they got here next day. They literally made it here next day. For the first time ever since I've been here, it was next day. So
the universe had your back,
So it's really ironic. It's the little things that we take for granted that we miss on a daily basis, and we look past these things, and sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's really a shitstorm, and you've got to put on your mucking boots. You've got to put on your raincoat. You've got to dig so deep that you don't know what you're going to do. You probably annoy every person around you because you're drowning in this and you're reaching for that lifeline. And what you don't realize is that it's in you all along.
Yeah, I wasn't a reacher outer though. I've gotten much better at that. I'm a retreater. I'm an isolator. I'm a cut myself off from everyone person. I'm getting better. I'm definitely getting better. You were saying about stepping into the unknown, right? It is, first of all, there's some days where you just have a day, and that's okay. You don't have to have a good day. You don't have a great day. You can just have a day. But the stepping into the unknown, right? We know, even if it's uncomfortable, even if we know it's not right, even if we know it's it's suffocating us. It's known. I mean, I've had this decision so many times in my life. I mean, I think most recently, most glaring was my marriage and deciding to get divorced, right? We didn't fight. We got along well. We were great roommates. He's not a bad guy. But at some point, I decided that I wanted more than just that. And I wasn't feeding him. I wasn't feeding his soul. I couldn't love him the way he deserved to be loved. And I like said this. I woke up every day and was going to do that. Promised myself I would and failed every day. And so I could stay there because I knew how to do it. And again, that's part of my trauma related maladaptive behaviors. I could stay there. But it started to occur to me that I didn't have to, and that I valued myself enough that I wanted it all. I didn't just want a roommate. I wanted to be in love with my partner. I wanted to be sexually attracted to my partner. I wanted to be doing things with my partner. I didn't want a roommate. I didn't want a roommate. And again, I wanted the best for him as well. And I was so terrified of the unknown. Could I do it on myself? The hours I work, am I going to be able to feed myself and get to the market and, do anything that I need to do? Am I going to, sit on the couch all the time and isolate myself from the world? And those were big fears for me. How would people react? All that stuff. Those were really, really, really big fears for me. And what happened for me was there was that moment where the fear of the unknown, right? The scale tipped, the fear of the known, how this would be moving forward every day for the rest of my life became far more terrifying than the unknown.
See, and I'm one of those people that's always all in for short-term pain for long-term gain. Like, I will take the short-term hit every day. I will take the short-term sacrifice every day if I see something long-term that can fulfill or add to or add upon, like evolve and grow beyond where I'm already at, right? And I'm huge on that. That's something I've always been very good at. I will take that short-term pain. I will take that initial hit. What I've realized over the past few months is when you find someone who knows how to actually love you, how to actually value you, and when you're able to do a return for them, you don't let that person go.
Right.
Because that is not a very easily acquired skill. That is not a very easily acquired match. When you find somebody that at your best moments, you're able to elevate each other to a level that doesn't even make sense because it's almost magical. You'd never walk away from that because there's ways to grow and heal and evolve to be on the same page and move forward at the same time. Yes, each individual has to grow and want to do that on their own. But when each individual does it on their own, there's a way to align each other to where you do it together as well.
Yes, and I was just writing down, it's two people in one relationship.
Yes.
I lost that. I lost my voice and I lost my, everything was enmeshed. Everything was enmeshed. Everything was, there was no separating the Play-Doh. The two colors were forever entwined, and that's hard because why do people fall in love? They fall in love with the person, right, that had their own life and the things they were doing outside of the marriage that made them attractive, the things that, you came home and talked about, or on dates you talked about, or whatever it was, right? And so when you start to lose that, the dynamic changes. At least this is how I saw it and how I came to understand it. And yeah, I agree. Once you experience that feeling, whether or not you hold on to the person, right? Because sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes it just doesn't work that way. But once you experience the feeling, right? And addiction is something you're no stranger to. It is addicting, right? Especially when you've been living in a muted world. And that's what happened to me. I'd be out and have an experience and, start to feel the full spectrum of my feelings again. And, as I was headed back home, I could feel it. I could just I could feel it all shutting down again. And like I said, my home was in a bad place. I had a beautiful house. I had a great friend waiting for me at home. But there was something about that relationship, right, that didn't allow either of us to fully flourish, to fully be ourselves. Be our best selves is really the biggest one thing that was missing. And again, there's a lot of reasons for it. But
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons, right? You weren't allowed to be your best self because you were muted. As you stated last week or the week before, he wasn't allowed to be his best self because of that also, right? But again, I don't think that was the magic level. When you hit the magic level, when you hit the level that you're able to bring out somebody is able to bring out something in you that nobody else can, and you could do the same for that, and you do the same for that other person. That to me is worth fighting for. That to me is worth taking the short-term hit for the long-term potential. But I'm also betting on myself because that's also me. I'm never giving up on myself again. I'm never taking a step back again. I'm just not. I refuse. I didn't. Like, everything keeps trying to break me. The universe tests me. Everything comes my way to try and push me to these limits. And you know what? These same things aren't getting to me anymore. These same things aren't making me react the way I used to react. I'm evolving and growing minute by minute and daily and hourly. I'm finding my courage. I'm finding my strength, and I'm finding my value. I'm finding my worth. And you know what? I'm starting to like who I am. I'm starting to love who I am. And I'm really starting to value who I am. Yeah. And I'm going to continue to move forward through it. Yeah. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to hide from it. And I'm going to push the fuck through everything because I don't care what's in my way. I'm going to do it. Nothing is going to stop me, especially me, which is what's always done it to me in the past.
Our self-limiting beliefs, they're really powerful, really, really powerful. And you said something, so I wrote myself a note. It's, that you believe in you, right? You have to believe in yourself because those are the things that hold us there. I'm going to stay with the example of my divorce because it's on the table and it makes sense as we go.
Well, we can't talk about mine yet in past tense, so there's no point.
and we look forward to when we can because we know that will be a huge shift for you. But I had to believe in myself that I could take care of myself. I could create a relationship and I would find that person where I could have it all, which is what I was like. I want it all. I don't want to settle for a great roommate and a best friend with nothing more. And so I had to believe in me that I knew how to love, that I knew how to find that person and would recognize them when I found them. And that was all out there for me. And it wasn't me. It was, the circumstances of our relationship because we were two amazing humans. Why wouldn't it work? I had to take that belief in me when I left because otherwise I would never have left. If I didn't think I could create that, if I didn't think it was out there for me, I would still be where I was. That's that. I mean, the reality of it. All right. I'm going to quickly go through some comments because we've got our friends here.
We've got a bunch of them. And I'm watching just roll up and it's great.
All right. So let's say hi to everyone. Carl, Sean Watkins. I can't say it the right way, but Brian Shulman, we'll hear you in our heads. So Thank you, Carl, for being here. This one I love because Senor Payasada has been MIA. I saw him yesterday and now today, but I have not seen you around, friend. I don't know what's going on, but thank you for joining us. And where are you? You are here. You're here. I hope that helps. Let's see who else. Michelle Madden, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Bill Bradford too.
Oh yeah, Bill Bradford.
Hi, Bill. And our beautiful friend Jen. Jen, thank you. Jen. Let's see who else. You guys are amazing. I have to go through all of these. Well, Jen was saying, yes, my dad. I'll let you take that in for a minute because that's a compliment.
It is.
It
I'm
is.
taking it in. I'm taking it in. I'm receiving it today.
Very nice. I love that everyone's talking to each other.
I know Annie was there. Brian's there.
Yeah,
Kenny's
I know I'm very. Tim Stone is here.
Yep.
We've got that. Brian is here. Apparently, I've got Tim is the hashtag. I don't know, master wizard. I've got several of them now. Let's see.
Coach.
Where's everybody else?
Sean, Kenny, Katie
I
J.
know.
Katie
Katie
J made
J
it.
is here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gosh,
Yeah.
Brian and Tim, you're having a wonderful conversation with each other. Jenny, this is a really, really lovely
Jenny
compliment.
Gold.
Thank
Yes.
you. That's why we're here. That's why we're both willing to air our, as Mike would say, our shit.
Yep.
We're sharing our Spartan races. We're sharing our experiences and our places of knowing and growing. So thank you. That's exactly why we're here. Hello, Brian Schulman. We said he was here, but here he is. But, oh my gosh, where is... We saw Annie. There's Annie.
Yep. Annie's there too.
Thank you for the love. And then it would not be a show without a scrumptious or delicious. So
yes, Katie J.
That sounds
and
scrumptiously, deliciously, edible, tasty, good to me. Michael Paterano, savor the flavor. All right. I think
that was everybody so far.
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the flow.
No, you're
but
good.
I just wanted to make sure because we have some pretty amazing friends, our peeps that are back week after week, and just want to and make sure you guys know how much we love you and love that.
Colorado's getting slammed with snow.
Yes.
Slammed.
Yeah.
Here it's starting to rain, but
Jenny, you gotta take some pictures. Yeah.
Yes.
I haven't been in snow in a very long time.
I wish I could say the same.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. So we left off with like trusting that piece that you know that you can do it, right? You're capable. I know what's out there for me, right? And along with, for me, my knowing came from me being me, but from what the universe was going to provide for me. And, and there are a lot of things I've learned about myself in the last couple of months alone. And so the healing journey isn't always painful tearing yourself apart. I want to say that. Like I've gotten through the worst of mine, hopefully. No, I'm going to say hopefully. I've gotten through the worst of mine. And moving forward, because I have the tools I have, I won't ever experience those things the same way again. But one of the things that I have learned is I always assumed it was who I was, right? I didn't value this part of me, where I always assumed that, the way I talk to people, the way I help people, the way people come to me to talk through things was just who I was. And I valued it. I like being an empathetic person. I do value being a kind, empathetic, caring, giving person, but I didn't see it fully for what it was. Right. So stepping into that is something different in terms of my allowing, that universal energy and that knowing to come through me. And that was a new experience from that perspective. And I actually had a great conversation with Mark Wynn this week. And he gave me all sorts of beautiful sage advice and things to think about. And he reframed and he asked me really insightful questions. And at the end of it, what I walked away from that was most powerful, and this allowed me to value, again, this piece of me, was the conversation we had. He was doing all the things that I do for other people when they come to me to talk. And while I was waiting for some magical aha moment to tell me, no, you really do have the ability to let allow that energy to flow through you, to have that knowing. I was waiting for a voice in my head to be whispering the things that like I was discovering, or, whatever it was going to look like. Again, I'm not in my head. I didn't have to buy a book and start talking to all sorts of people about, no, what does it look like? How do I learn how to do this? But that was a really recent coming to know and value. And so as you step into who you are and you value the parts of you and you continue to grow and see the value as you keep growing, I think that's really powerful. We also find the value, and I spoke to someone this week, Simon Dillon, about my story. And she's the first person who said, I'm sorry, I can't have gratitude for that. I don't know how you have gratitude for that. And we had a very honest conversation. I said, that's why I need people like you. Because if I lived in that space, I wouldn't survive. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be me. But you get to hold that for me, right? How brilliant is that I don't have to embody that because somebody else out there thinks it's really unfair. And what happened to that child there's nowhere to be grateful, and it's unacceptable. But starting to have gratitude for the journey too, right? I value the shit. I value my hardest days. I value the lessons I've learned. And no, that little girl didn't deserve any of it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with her more. But what I'm here to do, what I've done my whole life by working with kids and in communication, finding my voice, giving them their voice, speaking about my journey, Spartan race, and my story, that's my purpose. And I have gratitude because not everybody can do what I'm doing. And I didn't see that at first. Like, I'm thriving. I'm not just surviving. I'm able to talk about it. People aren't. Even people who've gotten through it beautifully like me aren't necessarily willing to talk about it. So all of that happened, and yes, I have the utmost compassion for that little girl, but she was brilliant. And she knew the plan better than I did, because she knew and she figured out how she was going to survive. She protected me. And then the 5-year-old, the 10-year-old, the 15-year-old, and on through my life, that version of myself kept me going till I got to the place where I could start healing and then ultimately get to where I am today. So there's value in all of it. There's value in all of it. We can't cut out the parts we don't like.
I'm at a point where I'm such a masochist that I look for the next shitstorm, because I want to learn through it. I want to overcome it because I know I will.
Right.
I know that I am going to get through it. I know that if the world fell down on my head today, I would get back up tomorrow and beat the living shit out of whatever is in my way to get through it. No matter what it is, I will make it through. I refuse to be scared of it anymore. I am done being scared of the unknown. I am done being scared of possibilities or potentials or potential bad outcomes. I don't care about that anymore. I realized this today that, going through this is not easy. And most people don't want to do it. And most people won't do it. But you know what? The ones that do, the ones that can, the ones that overcome are so frigging strong and have so much strength. And that is what inspires others to do it too.
Yeah.
When you run into that, whatever that scenario is, are you the one that runs into the fire to save the burning, the baby, right? Or are you the one that runs the other direction? Are you the one that's willing to take that hit to go help somebody else? Are you willing to risk your growth to help somebody else find their growth? And you know what? I'm going to do that every damn day of the week. I'm never going to stop being me again, because that's who I am. Because I'll overcome it. Even if it's a worst case scenario, I will get through it. I will overcome it.
I love how, and this is why we're a good team for this sort of thing, right? We arrive at the finish line, but we take very different paths to get there. I mean, not only was it the places we needed to heal and the journeys, the specifics of it, but you're listen to the scanner and find out where the burning building is, person, and then go ahead in there and run in. Right. That's how I picture that. I'm driving down the road and I see a burning building and I run in, right, without hesitation. But
Right.
I'm not looking for the next thing. And there's no right or wrong, right? Because ultimately we arrive where we're supposed to arrive, and in lots of ways we've arrived at the same places, right? And so that's the other thing. Like, I wanted one right way of sharing, my energy and being able to, there was going to be a right way. There's no one right way. And there's not a wrong way either.
No.
There's neither a right way or a wrong way.
No. And I think for me, because I ran from it for so long and I hid from it for so long, that now that I'm finding my inner strength, my inner confidence, my inner value, which is really what it comes down to, is my worth and my value, I am going to run through every friggin' house on fire. I'm going to run through every burning building. I'm going to run through every brick wall, no matter what comes my way. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to carry every person I can with me, because that's just who I am. So if there's a time to get on the train, it's now, because the train's never going to stop again. It's not going to pause. It's not going to hit speed bumps. It's going to hit ice skids, and it's going to spin a little. But you know what? It's really going through.
And that's powerful. Not knowing that, living that life that you're going to make it through is a very different life. For me, I found my voice in going through all of this, and that is something I will never lose again. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I will never lose my voice again. And I have absolutely guaranteed that and held myself accountable by being here on the platform and talking about my story. By sharing that, I'm held accountable, because if I stop, somebody's going to notice. Somebody's going to notice.
I don't think I shut up long enough to be silenced. And if I do, then people really need to send out a search party. Like, right. If I don't communicate, then it's search party day, right? Like that's the reality.
Well, the thing that you're good at least in my experience, is that you are able to communicate that you are not going to communicate.
Yes. I'm getting better at that. It's not something I've always been good at. It's really not. But it's been a lot of work, right, to get there, and to know that I'm worth it, right? To know that I do matter and I do mean something to people. And if I don't let them know that I'm not available or I'm not around, they might worry, because I'm such an outspoken, never shut up type person. So, on the verge of annoying at times, but it's okay. It's who I am, right? And I'm always there for anyone, and I'm always there for everyone I can be. So I feel like it's just a mutual respect thing to let people know where I'm at when I'm not there. And I realize today that I'm not a burden, and that I am always bringing my value to the table, and I'm always lifting people up, and I'm always doing the best I can with every situation.
And you are, Mike, the value you bring is really indescribable. And we've talked about this on shows.
We don't have to describe it, so we're good. We could just leave that alone. Exactly. So I don't have to receive, right?
Indescribable. Good. However, I'm going to try. Because I'm that girl.
You try and receive it. Perfect.
You connect people. You connect two people, and you connect them to one another. And that's not small. You are bringing people into each other's lives when they need it, and with the right people that are helping each other on this Spartan run to make it through it, to heal one another, to heal others. That is no small feat. The value in that, like I said, It's invaluable. It's invaluable. You are connecting people. You know what those connections have meant to you. You're gifting that to other people every day.
Okay, so I'm receiving. I do receive it, and thank you, and thank you, and everybody out there, you're welcome. Whoever I do this for, which is almost everyone. If we need to, I can get the founder of Spartan Races on maybe one of these episodes with us, because you've referenced him numerous times in this, and I am connected to him, and he does have a podcast, and I've had communications with him before, so maybe that's something we should shoot for. But
we can shoot for that. You know, I think it's a good analogy. I don't know if it resonates with anyone else, but it's been helpful for me.
As long as I don't have to do the physical part, I'm in.
Oh yeah, I'm already done. I am done and doing my Spartan race. I'm not doing another one.
Yes. Like, just leave me towards the burning buildings. I don't need to be in a Spartan race for that. I have adrenaline and other superpowers. I'm good. It's, and Nancy, like, your way of transforming the way that people look at themselves, you can turn somebody's worst moments into their biggest wins. You have a way of bringing your strength and courage and level of comfort to the table that you help them evolve in a single conversation. They walk away a different person. How's that for receiving? Anyway,
I'm receiving that.
I know you are. It's impressive. You handled that so much better than a couple months ago.
That is true.
We have growth. We both have growth. This is impressive.
I'm stepping into more and more into our value. And what's funny is my value in a lot of ways, and why it's easier to receive, is I'm learning more and more that my value is for other people. Sure, I value myself, but what I bring to the table allows me to help other people. And that is something that I will always value. That is something I will fight for. I will fight for myself too. Let's face it. I'm not fighting for myself, but I will take that in and honor it, because that means the world to me. So thank you.
I think I'm finally at that point. And in the last 24 hours, a lot of switches have flipped, and I'm not sure exactly what's triggered it all. But
you need to know?
Huh?
Do we need to know?
No. You know what? This time I don't need to. And this time I don't want to, which is really gross, because God knows I would probably sit here for weeks and try and figure it out and lose the whole moment. So I'm just at a point now where it's just, I'm good. I'm really good. Like, I still have my shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have my shit that I'm still dealing with and healing from and growing from and everything else. But I'm also at a point where I see my strength. I see I see what it is. I see my ability to lift others up daily and help them find themselves and connect them with people that can help them find their path, right? And really be that I don't want to say lifeline, but be that bridge for them to get to that next step for them, right? And timing is everything, right? And my intuition is really unique when it comes to that.
Yes.
And the way that it's been working lately is just beautiful. Like, it's perfect. It's just perfect. And I am honored to have the abilities I have, and I'm honored to share them with everybody that I do. And it's truly a humbling experience.
Right? Isn't it? That's the thing, is it's really humbling. And to hear the things you say about me, it's, again, right, recently I said, who the hell are you to think, it's got to take your ego out of it. Like, who the hell are you to think it's about you? Like, this is not about me. This is so much bigger than me.
It truly is. It's beyond our personal experience, because our personal experience ripples to every human being that we impact. And that ripple effect can wrap itself around the world rather quickly. It's really simple, especially in a connected world that we live in today. I always say that, if Jesus had YouTube, the world would be a little different, right? Any of them, no matter which one it is, right? Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, like if they had a YouTube channel, the whole world would be different, right? Like there wouldn't be any games, there wouldn't be any thoughts. But that's not what this is about. This is about our personal journey and being able to relate to others in their personal journey. Being able to inspire others to want to find their personal journey. No matter how hard it gets at times, no matter how shitty it is at moments, no matter how overwhelming and suffocating and depressing and sad it is.
It can be.
It can be.
It can be.
But none of us have made it to where we are today to turn around and walk away tomorrow.
No. I didn't fight this hard to give up now.
We've got to understand that we are strong enough to get through it, and those around us are there to support us.
And learning to lean in, right? That's hard. You and I and people like us, we learn to rely on ourselves. We don't, because of our experiences, we couldn't rely on the people around us. And the safety was in trusting ourselves. And so being able to ask for that help. And I just looked at the time. So I want you to finish your thought. We'll wrap it up. And we'll say goodnight, but finish your thought, please, Mike.
It's, I have such trust issues, right? From obvious reasons why, my whole childhood and everything else, and what I've been through, circumstantial, everything else. I have enormous trust issues. That when I finally trust somebody, for them not to value that trust that I give is the most crushing feeling in the world today. But I also know that it's not a reflection of me.
No. Right.
It's
and
a
that's
reflection of where they're at.
Again, it's ego. How dare I think it's all about me?
Yeah.
I'm not that powerful. I'm not that all-knowing. It's a good reminder for me. It's like, Nancy Barrows, really? You think this is you? And in ways, of course, it is. But keeping the bigger picture in mind, front and center, at least for me, it's helpful. I can get really wrapped up in me and then question why and how and if and is it really. And if I focus more on the people that I influence, and that is Jackson, that's a great question. Are you sure it's not a reflection of you? It is. And I say this all the time to people. When they say nice things about me, like, thank you for, and I sincerely mean, like, thank you for reflecting back to me the way you see me, the way I'm seen, right? That's valuable to know that is how I'm seen. All right. Well, somehow an hour goes really fast.
It does.
Yeah, it goes really, really fast. But
maybe next Sunday we'll have 150 guests and do it for an hour and do it for 4 hours.
I am not entirely sure I can do that next week. My calendar's a little full.
Do you have to do it on a Sunday before starting your week of work?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure. Well, let's talk about this. No decisions need to be made right now. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, for watching and engaging in the comments, for your beautiful thoughts, and for sharing yourselves. It is always, always so appreciated. Yeah, I know. We will be back next Sunday and every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking about things that matter, talking about things that force us to be okay with being uncomfortable, the places of growth and our places of success and our places of struggle. So next week, we hope to see you here. You can either find us on my YouTube channel live, my LinkedIn live, my Facebook live, and the fact that you found us at all, that's how you have to find us. We sincerely thank you.
Thank you all. We love you all. We really do, and we appreciate you. And thank you.
We value you.
We do. We value you.
We sincerely value you.
Yes.
All right. Good
All
night,
right.
guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.